Hi, how you doing today? Welcome to Mother's Tarot. My name's Loretta. Thank you to my subscribers and my visitors for joining me. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate your support. Um, this is going to be video 2 of the journey. I'm going to finish up about my story relating to uh, my uh, visitor or my neighbor friend, Pepe Le Pew. But first off, I'd like to let everybody know that I received an invitation from Allie. Her channel is Heart and Soul Connected. Make sure I got that right. Uh, yeah, Heart and Soul Connected. Um, Allie has a channel there, and she reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to be interviewed, and maybe we could do some mini readings at the end of it. It's going to be live the 30th of January, which is Monday. Yeah, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be my first time doing a live with somebody. So it'll be good. I'm thinking it's going to be good. The universe, the angels, the holy polies have all been leading me. So not quite sure what's all going to transpire and be exposed and be talked about and all that. But it's going to be fun. She's a beautiful lady, beautiful soul, precious, graceful, really nice. And I also want to let you know that if anyone out there would like a free reading, just email me and in the subject line, put free reading. Now, if you've got a particular question, go ahead and ask me to read on it, but try to keep it to, just one subject, or I can do my almost all-purpose read, or whatever comes to mind. Just let me know, and it's too much for me to type it all up and send it in an email. So usually, if it's a short one and you want it, that's fine. But it's just much easier for me to do it, tape it on Zoom, and then email it to you that way. Be totally private. So I can do that through the YouTube. Totally private. Nobody will see it but you. So I would look forward to that opportunity. So thank you very much. Okay, and I hope you hear something beneficial in my stories about my journey. And but what I wanted to finish up on, and I think I'm gonna pull some cards because I'm gonna maybe go in do another little story. We'll see how this one goes. But I'll pull a card or two, see how we can do. Anyway, I want to share more of my visit with Pepe Le Pew. And it's after she told me about the dark entity that followed me in to her place. And she was talking about seeing angels, and she was very, very concerned about my well-being. I mean, so much so she reached out and touched me, and she was reading me, and what she saw scared her. And I told her that I am protected by the angels, And I am protected by the Holy of Holies. And I told her a story, and I'm going to tell you this story just to reinsure, because she was telling me that she's seen angels, but that seemed to be about the extent of her experiences. She just seen it. I've never seen an angel, but the story I'm going to tell you, this was a day. Let's see, I'm going to say something. It was in 1976. I'm going to say 1976. I live in Washington State. I-90 was a 2-lane highway still, or a 2-lane at that time still. And this was one of the worst days of my life. It was really, really hard period in my life, incredibly so. And let's see. Okay, I'll just get into the story. Yeah. So I told you the timeline when it happened. Okay, I'm leaving the Puget Sound area in Washington State, and I'm headed to Spokane. I'm with my girlfriend, her boyfriend, and her little girl is in the back seat riding with me. We're eastbound on I-90, west of Richland, Washington. We were a couple miles from the ramps going in and out of town. There was a box van westbound in the westbound lane, and it was a white box van, and we're right up on it. I mean, we're just okay. We're here, and there, and we're right there. We're right there. We're in a 4-cylinder car, and another 4-cylinder car pops out behind them, behind the box van. It's too late for anything. It's too late. I see the whites of somebody's eyes because obviously, they got large, but that's all I remember seeing was whites of somebody's eyes. I had my coat on my lap. I flung it over my head like this, and I dived to my left because that's where my girlfriend's little girl was, to cover her. And and nothing. We had passed right through one another. So I'm explaining to her, I know I'm protected by the Holy of Holies, and I've got angels, and this is the point I'm getting to her. But no, not a second. It seemed like a second had not passed before this left my lips. And Pepe Le Pew says to me, I heard that on the news. I heard it on the news. She was living in Richland at the time. And I'm just blown back away. I'm like, couldn't possibly, there's no way. You couldn't possibly have heard that on the news. And she insisted she had, and then she just let it go. Because I was like, no, yeah, I mean, it just couldn't have. And but then after I got home, let's see, what's that? Let's see, the only part of that story I got to check my little notes here. Yeah, after I got home, I'm settling down, and then I get the message from the Holy of Holies, the universe, my spirits, Holy of Holies. There were 3 vehicles there. The box van. I don't know if the driver had a passenger or 2 in it. The car, the other car that was headed to fight for us. I don't know how many people was in there. And there were 4 souls in the car that I was riding in. It's seriously, it blew my mind to think that something like that would make the news. How do you report that there were 2 vehicles traveling on I-90 on I-90 at what, 65 miles an hour, maybe 70? Passed right through each other. There was a miscalculation. The driver popped out. 2 cars passed right through each other. I decided couldn't possibly be the news, but she insisted that it did. Once again, she's nearly 80 years old, or 70. I'm sorry, she's almost 70 years old. No, she's almost 80. I'm almost 70. But anyway, so I wanted to tell you that there are angels. There are angels. They saved all of us. And FYI, the guy that was driving the car that I was in, now I've known him, well, let's see, must have been, okay, but I'm 11, 12, probably 12, yeah. And my girlfriend and I, 10 years old, so when we became friends. So, we'd all known each other for a long time. And the guy behind the wheel, well, he was going through his own life lessons, and let's see, probably a couple, year and a half prior to this, he was at a party, everybody, and he was a little bit of a thorn in the neighborhood boys' eyes. Now these were older because he's, let's see, I'm gonna say 3 years older than me, and he had been in a party, and he irritated the wrong person, and just a tight knit little bunch, and we're like from the backwoods in a log, in place in a log, and he was shot 9 times with a 22. They were just sick of his death. Well, he pulled through, but he had some kind of near-death experience. And before I could speak to him about it, he had gotten ridiculed for it, for talking that way. So I never did get to talk to him about that. I was never in a place or space in my head, throughout my lifetime. I mean, it's not like we're all planted in one area, because we weren't. But anyway, there are angels. Absolutely. The Holy of Holies, if you are here, you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be. You're supposed to be here. I should have died many times over in many different ways. If you are to be here, you will be here. whatever they've got to do to ensure that happens. Yeah. And anyway, so I wanted to finish up that story about my neighbor and friend Pepe Le Pew, who sees the Walking Dead. And the ones she sees are angry. She's always seen angry earthbound spirits, earthbound souls, I should say. And this was, and I haven't known her long. It was last summer, probably early part of summer, when we started saying hi to each other as we see each other. And then she, she confided in me. I'm an empath, so I pick up on energy that others miss. But she shared with me about seeing all these angry earthbound souls. And we live in a subsidized senior housing, the nicest one in the county, I believe. But anyway, she told me, she goes, there's hundreds of them in her own little apartment. And they're all over on the grounds, all over. So, and I had just seen, I guess this is how Peppy and I became probably, closer. Well, we did become closer because you don't tell people stuff like this without feeling like you can. And she felt like she could, and she could, and she did. I had seen a video by Linda G, the Comanche psychic, and she had pulled out her supplies of telling you, okay, if you've got dead people wander around, ghosts, whatever, she goes, this is what you do, and I knew a little bit, to clear out the energy and stuff, but I thought, this is a lot, man. So I went back and I watched her video and I took notes. And then I thought, well, this is fine for 1 or 2, 3, maybe even 4. But I'm dealing with hundreds and hundreds of them. So the only other person I could think of to reach out to and ask for help with the words to use. I mean, Linda G had the basics, and that was cool. So I reached out, I sent Susan Lynn, psychic medium, I sent an email to her and told her what was going on and that I needed to do some kind of banishing ritual, to clear them out of there for her. I don't think the woman's had a peaceful night's sleep in her life, So anyway, Susan Lynn responded. Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. And so anyway, I wrote myself up a script to follow and outlined what I needed to do. And then I went over there. I pretty much just announced it. You too. I went over to Peppy's and says, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clean these earthbound spirits out of your home, out of your apartment. And so I did that. And I used the regular verbiage, and then through the blood of Jesus Christ. And then where Susan was really helpful with was the cleanup with calling in Archangel Michael. And I had like 4 paragraphs, and I ended it with, Archangel Michael come and swooping them all up and taking them home, to their heavenly home, celestial home, wherever they need to go, and for protection throughout the rest of time for myself and for Pepe Le Pew. And Pepe Le Pew just glowed. Her skin, herself, she just, and I don't see yours, but Pepe was glowing. She was just high and felt good and was getting rest and sleep. And yeah. And it was really, really great. And that happened on August 26th, 2022. Because it was a really big deal. And so I just want to tell you, you know, I'm going to reach for the Holy of Holies for my protection. Michael, the Archangel Michael, Christ, Lord and Savior. And also, I got a message from the Holy of Holies that I'm supposed to share with anyone out there that's doing readings. One of the things about readings is there's some readers that, you know, they're openly, you know, they're communicating with ETs, which, you know, is not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, or, but when we, you know, when we use this blanket term spirit, I feel like it's just throwing open a barn door. I mean, you can protect yourself, sure. But those that are just starting out and just starting to practice, I don't know. I don't feel that there's enough security in that. So that's why I choose to call on the Holy of Holies, Archangel Michael, for protection, and Christ himself. I also asked and received the message that Christ himself is what we understand to be, he's half ET, not Anunnaki. It is the Anunnaki that you find in the Old Testament of the Bible. That is the Anunnaki. They're cruel. And of course, if you've read the book, you know, in the New Testament, Christ warns us not to follow the Old Testament gods, as they're referred to. I don't believe he referred to them as that, but that's how they're termed in the Bible today. So the advice is to call on the Holy of Holies with questions for your own safety. I do it for my own safety. Okay, because I feel I belong to and with the Holy of Holies. The Holy of Holies is it is a far more advanced and higher vibrational realm than what the ETs exist in, be it dimensional, whatever you want to call it. There is a difference. There is a difference. And what I also learned, speaking of ETs, and I got another little thing I'm going to tell you about, a little story too. Contactees, we don't require as much sleep. A lot of contactees are running off of 3 hours of sleep a night. Myself, normal for me, 5 hours. That's normal. And usually that's interrupted, but that's 5 hours. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you now that I got all that out. Let me see if there's anything else. We did. Yeah, I told you about the interview. Okay. All right, now I want to show you this because this really kind of blew my mind too, and it ties into Pepe Le Pew. Okay, let me see if I can make sure I get her name right that I'm gonna tell you. Okay. It's I remember. Third Eye Champagne psychic reader. She's got a channel here. And I think it was in September. She did a reading. And it wasn't for me, it was just a general reading. And do you see this? This is a necklace and it's got resin in there. Pepe Le Pew gave it to me, and those are flowers, yellow flowers. And there's a figure of, I think it's a saint and a child in there. But the young woman that does Third Eye Champagne psychic, she was doing a reading, and I just happened to tune in. I'm not one of her regulars, because I think she does a lot of celebrity type stuff, and it's just not my cup of tea. But it was not that kind of reading this time. It was maybe it was a general reading or something, I don't remember. But she started to tell me, because she's speaking to me, and she didn't know it, but she knew she was talking to somebody, and she was describing this necklace that I would be receiving. Well, I had already received it, and I was really quite blown away. But you see the Holy of Holies, the angels, spirits, guides, they validate. They validate left and right for you. And so that was a real that wasn't a real validation for me. And I was wearing it, but I'm getting, for some reason, and I don't take my necklaces off when I sleep. This one, it sleeps with me. And I got a little lump thing. It irritates my skin for some reason, the back of it. It's solid metal. I don't know what it's made out of. But anyway, so that's why I had it off right now. So let's see. We could draw cards, huh? Shall we draw cards? What else can I tell you? Oh, I run across this guy, and his name is Preston Dennett, Bennett. He's an author on UFO. Let's see, I don't know if I wrote the book down or not, but he's a 1986 experiencer. We call ourselves experiencers. I had these cards of mine made up 3, maybe 4 years ago now. See right there. And it identified myself under my name. It says experiencer. And it's on a wing and a prayer. A new world, if you can take it. My name and experiencer, and my contact information. And if this resonates with you at all, if you have any kind of ET experience, in another video, I'll tell you about my, maybe the next one, because this isn't going to flow in sequence. I just don't flow in sequence. I'm into spontaneity, I've learned that from the angels. I'm just going to flow with it, man. So on the back of my card here, and I'll hold it up and you can take a snapshot if you want, or screenshot, whatever. But I recommend paulanthonywallis.com. That's his website, paulanthonywallis.com. Now, Paul Anthony Wallis was clergy for 30 years. He traveled the world, and what he did is he helped interpret the Bible for other clergy. What that means is he was going back to the original language. Cuneiform tablets is where the original language lies. So at this time, anyway, this is what I've got. And then he's got another website or a channel on YouTube here, fifthkind.tv. And then I want to tell you about Linda Moulton Howe. She's been boots on the ground in this subject. She got started in investigating cattle mutilations. She's into earth science. Journalist. She's a journalist. She's got a degree in communication. Her website is earthfiles.com. She has a show live every Wednesday at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time on YouTube. Then we have Dr. Stephen Greer. His website is SiriusDisclosure.com. That's spelled SIRIUS disclosure.com. Dr. Stephen Greer has had his literal boots on the ground up to his eyeballs in this since 1992. He walked away from running the trauma department at the hospital that he worked in. He had been running that department for 10 years. And he was asked by people that can't be named or identified to bring this forward, to bring it into the open, to the public. So Dr. Stephen Greer, he's got three movies. There's another one coming out. They're all source funded. That means the people like me send him $5, $10, whatever we can do. And that's how movies are paid for. And they don't look like it either. They are well-made movies. Unacknowledged. I highly recommend you watch Unacknowledged. You can find it free somewhere on the web. And then the last man I'm going to talk about, David Paulides. Now, David Paulides wasn't into UFOs, none of that stuff. David Paulides is a retired police detective. He was a police officer before that. Long career. His website is canommissing.com. He has put out many books about a lot of our parks, our federally protected parks across the United States. And this has also led him into different countries about the disappearance of people. It's fascinating. And he puts out videos all the time here on YouTube. And he's just started a series on Bigfoot. And it's really fascinating. So I hope you can, I know it looks kind of fuzzy to me. I hope you can see that well enough. So anyway, I want to throw that out there. And being this is all new. So now I'm going to I'll pull a couple cards. I've got the Mystic Martian, for those who are interested. The ET Experiencer, again, for those who are interested. The rest of us, I'll pull Tarot of the 78 Doors. I'll just pull one. Yeah. Let me do the ET experience here first. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what message the Holy of Holies has for us regarding ETs, extraterrestrials. Personally, I believe we're pretty much standing shoulder to shoulder with them. One of the things that's interested me, you know, I keep seeing and hearing about our population on this planet, in the country, just ticking up, ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. And it never, ever set right with me. Never did. Of course, that could be because, you know, I was a kid when the women of our country in the United States, we finally got permission to take birth control pills. So we could be the boss of our own bodies. It's a real sore subject for me. I was born into a Roman Catholic family. My mother, she could either choose to possibly die in childbirth, because there was 7 of us in a 10-year period. I'm the oldest. And or she could take the birth control pill. Doc said that, you know, you shouldn't do this anymore. Your body, you just shouldn't do this no more. No more babies. There's birth control now. She took birth control, and then, of course, you know, Roman Catholics go, wow, you can't take communion anymore. Just rack that up to another mortal sin. All right. So yeah, I got an attitude with Catholic Church, and I don't care. I would talk to the Pope like this. Love the Pope. Human being. Seriously. Catholics done a lot of good, but hey, you know, the shadow side, it's cutthroat. So anyway, let's see what the Holy of Holies has for us regarding the ET Experiencer Oracle deck. What message would you like? Let's see this flipped out. Hybrid children. You spend time with ET human children. I guess whether you know it or not. And I got a story about that too. But one story at a time, or 2, maybe 3. But, you know, we're taking a little bit of time here. Hybrid children. Let me read. Let's see. Childhood age. Hopefully I'm close to it. Yeah, here we go. Okay. I'll read this one. Hold that right there. Okay. There you go. This card indicates that you may have had a contact experience where you spent time with a hybrid child or hybrid children. Hybrid children are the byproduct of a genetic marriage between human and extraterrestrial DNA. The special children are most often seen while the contactee is aboard a craft, where many of them live and can look to be many shapes and sizes. They may also have a number of different kinds of abilities unique to them. Whether you feel that the hybrid child is yours or having your DNA in any part, those who have met a hybrid child are often filled with an overwhelming sense of love and desire to nurture them. Someday I might tell you the story. I'll get there eventually. But myself personally, I felt for a long time now that I have at least a few of them. And I've heard some women say they've got hundreds. I don't know. But it really cinched it when I heard an abductee talking about the way that they examined her one time, and she bled out of her belly button, her navel cavity, for a while. And that took me back to one of my memories where my belly button seeped blood. I don't know. It seemed like a few months. I mean, it was odd. I thought it was extremely odd then. Extremely odd, you know? And so, that kind of just validated what I felt, what she said. So anyway, okay. Well, how about we pull now? We'll pull one from the Mystic Martian Oracle, and then I'll wind it up with one from the 78 Doors. Kind of feels like 78 Doors, doesn't it? Yeah. Here on planet Earth, 78 Doors, man. You never know what is going to open up to you. You just never know. Seriously. Holy of Holies. One more card, please, for from the Mystic Martian Oracle deck. You have anything you can share with us? You do, I know you do. What would you like? Just jump a little. Okay. This not so what I was talking about. This is Naga's Lovers, Erotica, Sensuality. I don't know about you, but that don't make me feel any better about the whole situation. But let me see what it says about Nagas. And yeah, I've been thinking about this stuff since 1968. That's when my first conscious experience happened. And like I said, I'll tell you about that in another video. Nagas. Okay, what we got here? Got this. Let me see if we got. I thought they had an index in this one. They don't. Let's see if it's. She doesn't have them in an index, so hold on. I know I've read it in here before. Yeah. I hope you found something beneficial in this video today. I'm really new to this, and excuse me for me not being better at it. I've got this little kid inside me that keeps screaming, "Remember me?" Well, she was the one that would write 3 book reports not to stand in front of the classroom and give a book report. Yeah. So I have to calm her down and tell her everything's okay. Yeah, we'll be all right. This is just another journey we're going through, or it's part of the journey. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry about that. In case you've forgotten what we have, here we go. All right. Beautiful art. What's it say about Nagas? Ancient Hindu and Buddhist texts speak of the semi-divine serpent beings called Nagas, which is Sanskrit for serpent. The Nagas are described as powerful, very beautiful, and highly advanced snake reptoid beings that are advantageous to humans, while also dangerously fearsome and temperamental if provoked. Ancient iconography depicts that Nagas with upper human faces and torsos and snake bodies from the waist down. Nagas is made with Naganis is female. Oh, I'm sorry. Nagas is male and Naganis is female. Some suggest that Nagas could be a human hybridized genotype from the Alpha Draconian race. Like the Alpha Draconians, Nagas have the capacity to shapeshift into total human form. The Naga's full form is fourth dimensional and not visible to the average low third vibrational human sensory perception. The Hindu epic poem, the Mahabharata, makes, should I spell that? Mahabharata, makes reference to the Nagas. Many ancient iconographics, man, I'm butchering this, and texts around the world depict powerful serpent beings, including Quetzalcoatl from Mexico. Yeah, I've seen this before. I've heard it. It's a little tongue twister too. If you're interested, it's spelled Quetzalcoatl. And this stems from the Mayans. I do remember that about it. The rainbow serpent from the Aboriginal Australia and Greek god Glycon and goddess Echidna, Echidna. Being subterranean, the Nagas prefer to mostly reside in the deep, dense oceanic waters or subterranean citadels away from human populations. They are highly protective of their private environments. Unlike the terra firma talking humanoids, Nagas are more comfortable inhabiting the subtle central energy fields where they fluidly regenerate their inbuilt nectar of immortality from the depths of the ocean. Okay. And now I'm going to pull one last card. And I hope you, if you like it, push the like button for me, please. It helps the algorithms move the channel along. And if you're new to the channel, your first time here, you're still here, hit the subscribe button. You might like it. Yeah. Try to make it interesting. Like I said, I'm new at this. I'd rather write 3 book reports than do an oral report. It's 2 ideas. Okay, now we're going to pull a card from the Tarot of the 78 Doors. I'm going to ask, or I'm asking, Holy of Holies, is there a message behind one of these 78 doors of tarot that you can give us today? Us humble, meek, well, maybe not so much meek sometimes, but us humble humans. Got any guidance, advice? Sure appreciate it. Please and thank you. Holy of Holies. Holy of Holies, please share with us some guidance, information. Pull tarot cards. See what we've got here. See how this relates to what we're talking about. So this is the 8 of Pentacles. 78 doors of tarot. These are real pretty cards, but the lighting, my lighting isn't all that great. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm gonna read it for you. 8 of Pentacles. So I'll have their own layouts here. Okay. And this 8 of Pentacles. Aptitude for committing to continuous painstaking work. Tendency to conform to the rules of the herd. Yeah. Be careful about that. Conforming to the rules of the herd, which leads me into another little story. Now, this one is about my mother. It's one thing, when I got curious about the world, now I mentioned Dingleberry Land in the last one. Well, I was isolated from the world. Real isolated up until I was about almost 10 and a half. And then the Holy of Holies intervened. But when I started asking questions of my mother about the world, just people, the world, it was so strange out there. And really, that's why it's so strange. One of the things she used to say to me, when she was at a loss to explain why things happen, to people, she would simply say to me, "But for the grace of God, go I." Yeah. And then when I would go and I'd want to do something because, everybody else is doing it, why couldn't I do it? She'd tell me, she'd go, "Loretta Ann, you see a crowd of people walking off a damn cliff, you're going to just walk off behind with them?" Like I had to be the dumbest thing functioning to do that sort of thing or to think that way. And of course, I said, "No, Mom, no." But that's one of the best things she ever did for me, is to come back on me like that. I would think, because it ain't about following the crowd, the herd. That herd mentality, watch out, be careful. It could eat you alive. Like a frog in a warm pot that gradually goes up to boiling. And you never see it coming. You never see it coming. So keep your critical thinking hat on. I hope you made it this far. What you know. Thank you. If you did, bless you. And hang in with me, I hope. I really appreciate you being here. I love you. Godspeed. This is Mother's Tarot signing off until the next video. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I love you. Bye.